Hey guys, welcome back to the Don't Settle Squad podcast, episode 63, Purpose or Pleasure, the two paths in life. In the absence of purpose, pleasure inevitably takes over. I've been there, I'll share my story, and I'll show you how to get on the path of purpose. So, Saturday today, a bit late on this one again, and I got the number of the podcast right. I think the last two times I got it wrong. Little rookie mistakes there, but yeah, number 63, Jesus, it is getting on now. I've been consistent with it for the last good number of months, or even 6 months, and it's shown even in the numbers too of people listening and watching. So for today, this one is about a post that I reshared during the week. So a post I made last year was one of my most popular posts ever on Instagram, and you know when you go into the archive you can reshare stuff that came up from a year ago. So I reshared it, and a few people were liking it and resharing it again. So that's what inspired me to make the podcast this week about it. So that post, you know what, I probably should have brought up and shared it a bit, but essentially it was me opening up about when I had no purpose and I fell into the path of pleasure, which I'll get into in today's episode. So in that post, I remember saying that I spent roughly around €10,000 on drink and partying between 18 to 23. And when you do the maths on that, it's actually coming back to me now. That's only €38 a week, which is nothing. And like, when you hear that, you're probably going to go, maybe especially if you're from Ireland too, you'll be like, yeah, I've probably done that too. Like, that's not, you know, from 18 to 23, it doesn't sound ridiculous to think that you would have spent around €38 a week on alcohol or partying. Okay, and when you do the math on that over the 5 years, that adds up to 10,000. So that was the post, and then as I go into it, it was a short enough post actually. So it's a picture of me on holidays somewhere with, you know, the big bottle of vodka, me and my friends. But it was just saying that you know what a person values by where they spend their money. Okay, easiest way. Don't ask them, because we lie to ourselves and we lie to other people. Don't ask them. Just see where they're spending their money. That's what the person values, okay? And then for me, it's only learning all these things and looking back. What did I value back then? Obviously fun, partying, etc. Because that's where I was blowing all my money. And it just came to a point in my life where I was 23 and, you know, the broken body, didn't have a good mindset, wasn't who I wanted to be, wasn't living the life I wanted, and I'm just trying to analyse, like, what's going wrong here? And I noticed that, first of all, I'm like, well, I'm putting all my money towards drinking, partying, so why am I expecting anything else to get better? And that's when I started investing in coaches, starting off mobility, into strength, into mindset, into life. Spent $35,000 on coaches since, and shock, changed my life in all aspects from there, because I invested the time, the effort, the money into it. And the last line that people liked, I think I made it up, was invest in your rise, not your demise. Okay, so invest in your rise, not your demise. That's what ultimately changed my life. So to go into it then, we'll just run through it with 3 points to help you if you're that kind of person who will resonate with that. So the first one, just on my story, just to give you a background on it, I suppose the different aspects of my story. Obviously I go on mainly about the physical freedom and, you know, 10 years of chronic pain and injury and having that changed my life too, but I suppose just a slightly different aspect on, let's say, the partying and stuff. That mainly happened around, or started to do with the soccer career. So I wanted to be a soccer player, and that was my purpose. So that's what I'm getting at here. Like, ever since I was a young kid, probably 3-4, like as early as I can remember, I had purpose. I had the purpose of being, I want to be a soccer player. I want to play for Man United. Like, that was my purpose and my dream. And like I said, I've had it ever since I could remember as a kid. So having that from, let's say, like 3, 4, 5, all the way up to like 18, you know, that's why I think I said it in the documentary, like, soccer was my life. Like, I didn't know anything else. Like, I literally did not know anything else, wasn't really good at anything else, because I just put all my time, effort, and I suppose my parents' money into soccer. So like, that was my full purpose. And then when that didn't work out, when I didn't make it as a soccer player, like the vast majority don't, I had no purpose. So there was just like a big void in my life. The thing I focused on for 15, 16 years, just kind of realising, that's not happening. And then, just a massive void. So a massive void of purpose. And like I'm saying there's only two paths in life, which you'll figure out yourself. There's purpose, there's pleasure. If purpose disappears, you don't try to work and cultivate it, you're just going to fall into pleasure. Okay? And that's what happened in college. It was actually kind of like third, fourth year in college. There was 1 year where I was partying very hard. Okay, so I went out 4 nights a week for a full year in college. 4 nights a week minimum. Friend had a Coppers Gold card. I was in Coppers 4 nights a week minimum. I'll be happy if I never see the inside of that place again. Okay, so, and it's only because it was so popular that I'm going to talk about it now, but I just want to, like I've done with my whole journey, be honest, be vulnerable with these things. You might see me now, very fit, elite VO2 max, nearly doing 1-arm chin-ups, all this type of stuff. But there was a time where skinny, weak, immobile, not fit at all, drinking, just like what can happen to anyone else. Okay, so, I've no problem sharing the past and sharing these stories, okay? Because look, vulnerability is the bridge to connection. I remember even sharing that post, and some family members being like, "What are you doing? How can you share that?" And I do it like, I don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Just like, this is why I'm doing it again. I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm not doing it for. I'm doing it because when I speak to the camera, whoever's listening, I'm technically not speaking to you. I'm speaking to my younger self. That's how I enable myself to do this, because otherwise, I'd be getting the blocks and a bit shy and different things. I'm speaking to my younger self. I'm trying to help him in life in the best way that I can. And to do that, it wouldn't be sitting up here thinking, I'm perfect, I've always been this way. I've been the opposite in a lot of ways, okay? So, there we go. That's the truth. Proper party animal. In final year college, zero purpose, just going for pleasure, going for fun. And there's nothing there at the end of that. Look, I think you know these things, but you have to live them. So at least to myself, I go fairly hard on things. Okay, the don't settle attitude. Obviously part of my personality too, I'm a determined person, I'm a stubborn person. Okay, so what was the point I'm trying to say here? Sorry. Yes, the fact that I'm kind of stubborn and I kind of go hard on things in general, that led into the drinking too. So at least I didn't go 5-10 years drinking kind of on off to realise this. I just went hard for 1 straight year and probably drank more than most people drink in 10 years and probably took a few years off my life. So, I went hard at it for the full year and there was the answer. Just thinking is this going to be the rest of my life? What is the point in this? Waking up hungover, no purpose, just wait until the next night out again that night. What was the point? I think it was after college and I did a J1 where I was drinking again. Came home at 23 after that, and that's kind of where everything links in, because I had the broken body, chronic pains, couldn't play the sport, no purpose, no passion. My mindset wasn't where I wanted to be. I wasn't being my true self or any of that. Again, just blocking it all, going drinking, and then heading into the 9 to 5s that I didn't want to do either. So it all kind of culminated at the same time, which would be my low. That was kind of the bottom. And that's when I started figuring out how am I going to get purpose again in my life, because I know where this is going to lead and I'm not. 1 year was enough of that. I know it's going nowhere. So look, the ball only bounces when it hits the bottom. You need to go to these stages a lot of the time to learn these lessons. Listening isn't enough, unfortunately, a lot of the time. So on to point 2. What do you do from there? Okay, if you're that person, maybe you've no passion, you've no purpose, you go out drink with the friends a lot, or you're doing things and you're like, is this all there is to life? I remember thinking that, is this all there is to life? Because fucking hell, there has to be more to it. So changing your environment is going to be the biggest thing starting off. Okay, and we've all heard these kind of things, you're the culmination of the 5 closest people to you, or whatever that quote is. That is true, okay? So the environment is going to have the biggest impact on your behaviour. It's the invisible hand that's shaping your behaviour, and you probably don't even know it, okay? Great analogy I heard on this only recently. This is from one of the strongest men I've ever seen. I think he's the world record holder in, is it the pull-up or the weighted muscle-up? Not too sure. But he's an absolute animal. And he said, he actually has a similar thing here where, he lives on his own, he has built his own lifestyle around the training and training partners, etc. But there was a time where he was back in college and he lost purpose and passion, and he was doing a bit of drinking and different things. even though he's a very, very disciplined person, obviously, to be able to get to that level in strength. And then what he said was, it's all about the environment. And the analogy he gave, like, it really just hit me, and that's what I'm going to tell you now. He said, when you surround yourself with things like pleasure, it doesn't matter how strong you are. It does not matter. It's just a matter of time. And he said the analogy, it's like holding out a heavy water bottle with a straight arm like this. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the weakest man in the world or you're one of the strongest men in the world like him. That is going to break you over time. 1 day, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever, that's going to be falling. You're going to break. Like, it's inevitable. It's only a matter of time. And that really hit home with me, because I would have kind of thought that as well. How was I so disciplined with soccer, training all the time, did everything that I could have done during the week and stuff. But then, I just seem to have no passion, no purpose. And I'm just, you're going out tonight again. Oh yeah, why not? It's the environment that you're in. Okay, so that analogy really helped me. It's not about discipline or willpower. It's about the environment that you're in. If you're surrounding yourself in an environment where people have no passion or purpose and they're just going for pleasure, it's inevitable that you're going to give into it as well. And I'll give you 2 more examples, other ones that I heard around the environment that always stuck with me. One of them was from the Vietnam War. And I'm not going to get these stats perfectly right, but you'll get the main point. So when US soldiers were over in Vietnam, a good amount of them ended up doing heroin, because the environment over there, people were doing heroin. And I did a quick Google maybe 20 minutes ago to rehash some of the stats. I think it was something like 20% of the soldiers got addicted to heroin from doing it over in Vietnam. But then once they came home and integrated back into society, only 1% of them were addicted to heroin. Okay, so it went from 20% to 1%. And so the one thing I've never done drugs in my life, drank a lot of alcohol, but never done drugs. But so I don't actually really know anything about them or which ones, but I think that's one of the most addictive ones. So yeah, like one of the most addictive drugs, 20% of them were addicted and they came home and it was only 1%. So like the whole point of that study, there's actually studies done on it, was the massive impact of the environment. Because the environment are doing heroin over there, then they come back and obviously their families and stuff aren't doing heroin. So it's like the environment just had such a massive impact on it. They were astounded. They thought like if 20% are addicted over there, like 20% are going to be addicted back here, or 18 or 19%, but it actually was just the 1%. And even a very simple example that I used to say before, I maybe got these better ones of like, just think if you're trying to lose weight. Let's just say you're trying to lose weight and all your friends eat McDonald's every single day and bring them into the house here. Like, just think how tough that's going to be. And again, you're going to break. Like, it's inevitable. Again, the water bottle's going to drop. Whereas think if you had 5 friends who were mad into fitness, cooking all their own meals, and you lived with those 5 people. So it's just change your environment. That's the point 2 here. I've hammered it home there with 3 examples. Changing your environment. You need to get around people who have passion, who have purpose, and that's going to rub off on you. And that's what I did. And another important point here, it doesn't have to be in person, because we live in the internet age now. So I started plugging these people into my head through podcasts, through audiobooks, through physical books. That's when I started getting into the likes of Jocko Willink, who's obviously big on discipline, following loads of guys online, loads of trainers online, loads of people of integrity online who've inspired me so much, and still to this day, the people who have passion, who have purpose. So I changed the environment, and it was actually because I'd left the college groups and stuff, and now I had to start getting a job, and I was living with 2 new random older people. So I had a lot of time to myself now. So I had the space to myself to actually figure out what is going on, what am I actually going to do with my life. And that's when I started, spending my time going to work or coming back from work, listening to podcasts, reading books. And as I say, a lot of the time, following the results. That's what I was doing. Like, I figured that out at least. I was like, I want more passion and purpose. What will I do? I'll follow the results of people who seem to have passion and purpose. Okay? So there's number 2. Point 3 then, it's just the kind of harsh truth of pursue purpose or accept apathy. And, I had a newsletter before where I wrote a bit on this, but that's the harsh truth. You can pursue purpose or accept apathy, because that's what's going to happen if you go down that pleasure route. It's great fun for a couple of months, this, that. At the end of the year, just complete apathy. You're like, what? You're just no motivation to do anything, and you'll hit that point yourself. And that's the line I wrote actually at the end of the newsletter. I said, are you going to be a junkie for ease, an addict for entitlement, or are you going to start working towards a purposeful life? And I'll give you one thing here I've written so many other newsletters, and I could do other podcasts on like how to actually go about finding your purpose and your passion. Obviously finding people who've done it, that's one way. But another way, and it's what happened to me, you just need to dig into your own life and start analysing and looking at the things that have plagued your life. Okay, so another way to put it, which I love, is you take the poison from your own life and you turn it into a tonic for others. Okay, and that's what I've done. 10 years of chronic pain and injuries. One of the biggest issues in my life. I was only 25, and they're telling me you can never play sport again or go to the gym. So I went to war for that. Like, that's what you have to think of. What, like, another line is, what's your crusade? Like, what would you go to war for? What would you die for? What are you going to plant the flag on? And like, if you're a person that's never done it, that's why. How can you have passion or purpose for anything if you don't stand behind it? So that was the first time in my life for me. Like with the soccer career, there's other angles on it which I've talked about before. I didn't fully go for it. Like when I gave up, it was because I was at Ireland level on the big squad of 30, never made the 11. And after 2 years, I got dropped off that. And then I was like, I'm not good enough. Could have went to England, could have done other things. I was only 18. So I didn't plant my flag on that. I didn't say like, this is do or die until I'm 23 or something. But with the mobility, that's when I did. I still remember those moments. That's the kind of start of the don't settle attitude. I said, I'm going to fucking regain physical freedom. I'm going to do the things I love again, or I'm going to die trying. And that's it. I'm sick of this, the apathetic, following pleasure, wishy-washy. Oh yeah, I'll try with the soccer. That's too tough. I'll drop off. I'll try it. I was like, fuck it. You have to get to that point in your life where that's it. Use your anger, use your pain. And all the experts telling me you're never, I was like, I don't fuck. Jesus can come down from heaven and tell me you're not playing sport, and I'll fucking tell him where to go to. You have to get to that stage where it's down to you, and you stop listening to anyone else, no matter who they are, the experts, this, that, and you said, I'm planting the flag here, okay? And that's what I did, and only in hindsight, now I see that's what had to happen, okay? Because there were so many barriers, and the journey wasn't easy, but eventually after the year, going to coaches, different things, and I got back to jiu-jitsu and the gym, okay? So through that, how would I not have passion and purpose for that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I went to war for it. As I said, it's this or die trying. That's it. Burn the boats. There's no other way around it, okay? So through that, I didn't know if I was going to get back, and I did. And then obviously because that happened, now I have the tonic. That was the big poison that was really affecting my life. But now I found the tonic for it after all the blood, sweat and tears I had to go through to find it. And that's what I help people with in the Physical Freedom Program. So you can see there, if you have no purpose, no passion, what's affecting your life? And it's obviously something. You don't have a perfect life. You're not going to be watching this now if you have a perfect life. So there's always things that are going to be affecting us. And as you'll probably find out, the four, like health, wealth, relationships, and I can't remember the fourth one. Like, it's kind of four things we'll all struggle with at some time in our life. So there's going to be things there, and you either need to overcome them. If it's physical freedom, a coach like me can help you overcome that, or whatever else it is in your life. People have done it. That's something empowering to realize too. Whatever problem you have in your life, you'll feel like you're special. You'll feel like no one else gets me. You'll feel like, yeah, this is just some really, bad problem. No one else can overcome it. You're not special, okay? Look, I've been in those type of things before. People don't get it. All problems have been solved, okay? Like any problem that we've had as a human being, we've been around for 200,000 years. It's been experienced before. Someone has gone to war to find out the answer, and you can go talk to that person and get it. Mine is the example for physical freedom. I've gone to war to overcome that. Not a lot of people do. That's why not everyone is, let's say, a coach in that area. Okay, so someone has found the answer that you are struggling with right now. Go find them. Okay, go find them. Get the tonic off them. And then, as I'm saying, that's what you can do in reverse then. Once you find this answer to a big problem in your life, now you can start giving the tonic to those people. Okay, I think that's probably enough. So that stuff, it's coming from the Lifestyle Design University. So I have 3 programs. I got the Physical Freedom Program, which is, let's say, the body one, the mental freedom one, which would be the mindset and self-awareness, and then the Lifestyle Design University is the lifestyle one, about figuring out how do you live true to yourself, finding out your passion, your purpose, etc. Because the number one regret in life is, I wish I lived a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me, okay? So that's what we're trying to avoid here with this. Cool. So yeah, the Lifestyle Design University, I'll link that down below, and then the Physical Freedom Program, obviously, which I mentioned too. There's two options there. So we have the membership option, which I launched this year. That's self-guided, and there's a group call. So if you want to overcome chronic pain injury, you can get in there with the cheaper version, or else obviously if you want to go for it properly, burn the bridges, make it happen, the one-to-one is there as well. And should say too, follow, rate the podcast. So if you're listening on Spotify, follow if you haven't, or give it a rating. And yeah, if you're listening, okay, so you're listening this far, you're getting value from it, someone go in and rate it, okay? It's at 9. It's annoying me now. It's been at 9 for ages. Someone go in and rate that and get it up to 10. And then look, I'm happy with that. And then on YouTube as well, subscribe if you're listening to that. I can see the YouTube, the last video got whatever, 100 and something views. Like, they could usually get 10, 20, whatever. It's gone up to kind of 150, 160 now, so... yeah, obviously, whatever, the last few ones might be resonating. But yeah, follow or subscribe there, because there's 5 or 6 new ones from last week. So subscribe if you're watching on YouTube as well. Cool. I think that's everything. Just don't settle, live true to yourself, and we'll talk to you next week.